They creep forward until they spot a small village in the forest ahead. The settlement consists of around a dozen buildings scattered about on either side of a deep ravine. An old wooden bridge across the ravine connects the village together. All around the village, they find strange ritual circles drawn in blood on the ground. "I guess these are summoning circles," observes Frederico. "But why are there so many? I thought you only needed one." "This one is all wrong," says Sebastiana, looking closely at the nearest circle. "It's shaped like an egg. I've never heard of a summoning egg." "Why do you know about how a summoning circle should be drawn, whore?" says Pietro. "Because they're called summoning circles, dumbass. Why would they be egg-shaped?" "She has a point," says Frederico. "In fact, all of these are weirdly shaped. Maybe they're just not very good at drawing them." They explore further into the village, discovering more and more recent summoning circles as they go. Further ahead, they hear voices arguing. "No, this one is wrong," says a man with a Spanish accent. "We need to make a new one." "Damn it, Pablo, we've made like 50 of them. This one is fine. Let's just go with it." "No, you fool, it has to be a perfect circle." "Well, then why didn't you just draw it perfect the first 50 times? "Do you know how hard it is to draw a perfect circle using blood, on the floor of the jungle, with no tools?" "No, and I don't care. Let's just start the ritual. What's the worst that could happen?" There's a brief pause in the conversation before Pablo continues, his voice dripping with contempt. "What the fuck do you mean, what's the worst that could happen? We're summoning demons, you moron!" "Look, Pablo," says another voice, "I respect your attention to detail, but we're running out of virgin blood here, and I don't think we have enough to make another circle. If we don't use this one, we're going to have to paint the next one with the non-virgin stuff, and we all know how that went last time." "Hey, do whatever you want, guys," says Pablo, "but I'm gonna go wait out in the woods for when this inevitably goes up in flames." They hear a single set of footsteps leading away from the conversation, presumably Pablo's. "All right, guys, let's get this over with," says the other voice. "On the count of 3, we start the ritual, okay? 3, 2, 1. Multiple voices begin chanting in Latin as Frederico, Sebastiana, and Pietro come around the corner into view of the final ritual circle. One of the cultists looks back and forth nervously and says, "Oh shit, I thought he was going to say go before we started." The cultist begins chanting along with the others, but his words are just slightly out of sync with everyone else. The other cultists give him some pointed glares, but dare not interrupt the ritual now that it's started. Pietro moves to stop them, but before he can do more than take a single step, their chanting reaches a crescendo and they all shout, "Hail Satan!" and raise their hands in the air. "Hail Satan!" says the last guy a moment later. All the ritual circles in the town flare to life in unison, emitting a demonic red glow. Are they all supposed to be glowing like that?" says one of the cultists uncertainly. "No, just the one." Red and black smoke emerges from each circle, followed closely by swarms of small, gremlin-like creatures with reddish skin. "Oh, shit!" shouts one of the cultists, moments before one of the demons leaps on him and tears out his throat. "Fuck!" shouts another cultist. "They're out of control! Flee for your lives!" The cultists bolt in all directions, but the demons chase them all down and tear them apart. More of the creatures notice Sebastiana, Frederico, and Pietro and run at them. "Begone, demons!" shouts Pietro. "The power of Christ compels you to leave this realm!" The demons ignore him, except one who just pauses briefly and asks, "Who?" in a confused voice before continuing on. Frederico begins blasting away at the demons with his shotgun, but it's Sebastiana's strange tri-wielding that really gives them pause. Just looking at it seems to confuse and annoy them. "Fuck this," says one, throwing up his hands and walking back to the nearest circle. "I heard this time and space stuff was weird, but that's just too much. I'm out." Many of the other demons follow his lead, but more keep coming. To make things worse, the smoke from the many circles seems to be forming into a shape in the sky above them. A wounded cultist looks up and shouts, "The rift between worlds is reaching critical mass. It's becoming self-sustaining, just like Jimin warned us about." He points with bloodied finger at Frederico and Sebastiana and continues, "You must close shut the jaws. It's the only way." A demon kicks him in the head to shut him up as the shape in the sky finally resolves itself into a massive fiery gate. The gate descends to the earth on the other side of the ravine as demons pour forth. Not just gremlins, but flying, bat-like creatures, blobs of fleshy mass, and all manner of other horrifying things. As they watch, a giant foot emerges from the portal, followed by its owner, an enormous humanoid demon covered in broken metal chains. "Well, it's been nice knowing you," says Sebastiana. "Frederico." Pietro glares at her. "Yep, we're basically fucked," says Frederico, as the giant takes another lumbering step towards them. Out of fucking nowhere, they hear the sound of war horns blowing wildly, and hundreds of Knights Templar in full armor charge into the town shouting joyously and chopping down demons left and right. "What the?" says Sebastiana, as she watches a contingent of knights charge at the giant and begin climbing its leg like ants. "Hell yeah!" shouts one of the knights. "This is gonna be even better than the last battle!" The other knights shout in agreement, even as the demons turn and begin fighting back. Frederico, Sebastiana, and Pietro suddenly find themselves standing alone in a field as the swarming gremlins run off to face the clearly greater threat. They stand there staring as the sudden, unexpected battle pours out across the village in a cacophony of limbs and steel. A small portal opens next to them and Jimin steps out. He looks around before declaring, "Yep, this place is fucked." "You!" shouts Frederico. "Where's my tablet?" "That's not important right now," replies Jimin. "What's important is that you really need to close shut those jaws. If that gate stays open long enough, there's no telling what might come through." "So what? Are you proposing an alliance?" asks Frederico. "Hey, no, I'm just going to leave and have you deal with it." Jimin steps back through his portal and closes it behind him. "Damn it!" shouts Frederico. "He's right, though," replies Sebastiana. "Someone really needs to close that gate. The Templars are going to be overwhelmed sooner or later if demons keep coming through it." Back in the middle of the battle, the knights are still struggling to bring the giant down. Near its feet, two men wait for their turn to start climbing. "I'm so fucking glad we came to Brazil, man," says one, shouting for his voice to be heard over the din of battle. "The battles back home were so lame compared to this." "Hell yeah, brother!" shouts his companion. They clasp fists in camaraderie as the giant's foot comes down on top of them, crushing them both into a red paste. A small group of horsemen charge past nearby, but a flight of bat demons intercepts them, lifting them bodily off their horses and dropping them to the earth with a sickening crunch. "Worth it!" shouts one in the moment before his death. The suddenly riderless horses come to a confused stop a few feet away, giving Frederico an idea. "Come on," he says, climbing into the saddle smoothly. Sebastiana and Pietro follow more hesitantly. "What are we doing?" asks Sebastiana. "We need to get closer to that gate," replies Frederico. "Let's ride." They charge into the demon horde, cutting a bloody path through the enemy as the Knights Templar cheer them on enthusiastically. The battle rages around them, and just as they reach the bridge, the sheer weight of the knights begins to bear the giant to the ground. It stumbles and finally collapses, tumbling down right onto the bridge just before they're able to clear the other side. The bridge falls away beneath their feet as bits of broken wood fly everywhere like daggers. Acting with way more coordination than should logically be possible, the three of them leap from the saddle as one and do forward backflips through the air to reach the opposite side of the ravine. The Knights Templar go wild, clapping and cheering in awe of their display. One of the knights on the giant's knee shouts, "Hell yeah!" before he and the other doomed warriors atop the demon disappear into the fog at the bottom of the ravine. Frederico rolls smoothly into a kneeling position with his shotgun raised to his shoulder. "Adios, portal!" he shouts as he pulls the trigger. With a blast of flame, the grooved pellets fly from the barrel of the gun straight into the side of the gate, blowing a huge hole in it. The fiery red light of the other world sputters and fades as the gate, destabilized from the blast, begins to collapse in on itself. The remaining demons immediately sense their ride home falling apart and flee for the collapsing gate. Those who aren't fast enough are to get out are quickly cut down by the Knights Templar, bringing the battle to an abrupt end.